Welcome, Layla. Thank you for taking time to come speak with me today. First, I would like to ask you about what it's like living in war-torn Kabul.
It has been very hard because new rules have been set as a result of the war. For example, all citizens must pray 5 times a day, and if you are caught doing something else, you will be beaten. That is just one of the many rules that have been enforced as a result of the wars. I also lost my parents from one of the many bombs that were dropped. Losing my parents has led me to do some drastic things.
Such as?
Well, I had to marry a man named Rashid so I would have a place to live. Rashid isn't the most pleasant man to live with. Let's just leave it at that.
I heard that you and Rashid's other wife, Miriam, tried to escape. Any details?
Miriam and I were running away with my daughter Aziza, and we couldn't go outside without a mail. So we asked the man at the bus station if he could pretend to be our cousin so we could get on the bus. We gave him the money that I've been saving over the years so he could purchase our tickets. Then as we tried to get on the bus, we were stopped and told we couldn't get on. As it turns out, he told the security guard that we weren't his cousins and he took our money and left. We ended up at the police station and they called Rashid and he took us home. He blamed Miriam and started beating her. He then boarded up the windows, put Aziza and I in the room, and then put a heavy object in front of the door so I couldn't open it. It was very hot and Aziza and I were trapped and then became very dehydrated.
Are you and Aziza all right?
Yes, Rashid let us out before we were gravely injured.
It's surprising that Rashid could do that to anyone, especially a baby. Why does Rashid dislike Aziza so much?
Rashid never really liked Aziza, partly because before Miriam and I were married to Rashid, he had another wife and son. He tragically drowned while Rashid was passed out drunk, and I don't think he ever forgave himself. He wanted Aziza to be a boy because he wanted to replace the son.
Poor Aziza. You two have gone through a lot together. Moving on, I'd like to discuss your life before Rashid and Miriam, with your parents and Tariq.
My brothers died in the war, so Mammy was depressed and didn't pay very much attention to me. When the war ended, Mammy was happy again. Baby was not as depressed as Mammy, yet he was still affected. He wanted what was best for me. He wanted me to have an education. Tariq, whom I believe was dead after Rashid paid someone to tell me he was dead, turned out not to be and we got married. We are currently having another baby. We are trying to decide on boy names, but if it's a girl, we already know what we will name it. Miriam.
Let's talk about Tariq. Describe your relationship.
Tariq and I were very close friends ever since I was born. We ended up liking each other, and long story short, that's how Aziza came to be.
How did you feel when you found out that Tariq was dead?
I was devastated. I loved Tariq, and I found out later that Rashid paid someone to tell me he was dead, so I would marry Rashid.
How did you feel when you found out Tariq was alive?
When he came back, I cried. He told me stories from his time in Pakistan. I was embarrassed of my looks because as I aged, I lost a tooth and some hair. Tariq said that he too had lost a tooth and some hair.
That's all we have time for tonight. Thank you, Layla, for taking time to come speak with me.
Thank you for having me.